guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling. The last couple of weeks, I've done the AFC record predictions, the NFC record predictions, and now, this week, I'm going to do the NFL power rankings going into the preseason. So this is going to be a little different. The last couple episodes was my predictions on how the season will end and where every team will fare. This is where they rank right now, right this second before any games are played. So it's going to be a little different. You might hear me say a team is in the top 15 in this video that I put in last place in their division a couple videos ago. So don't hold me tit for tat like that, because this is the rankings how I feel right now after last season, the offseason additions, going into the season, not predictions for how the season's going to go. It's where each team stands right now. So like, subscribe, share, and let's do it. Let's start with the number one team in the NFL in my eyes. And I got to give it to the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, I've been known as a little bit of an Eagles hater, but they had the best roster in the league by far. Yes, they lost their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and there might be some slight regression with that. You saw last time when they lost Shane Steichen that there was some regression in 2023, so you could expect maybe a couple wins less than what you were last season, but they still have the best roster in the league. They're too good of a team overall, and Jalen Hurts has played his best football in the brightest moments when it's mattered most. But his two best games of his career were both in the Super Bowl. So Jalen Hurts has shown in big-time moments he's going to come through. I don't think necessarily he's a top 5 quarterback. He's definitely a top 7, 8 quarterback, but he plays his best football in the biggest moments. So I trust Jalen Hurts, and I trust this team. So they're the best team in the league to me right now, where it stands today. Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs. So yes, they got blown out in the Super Bowl. It was kind of embarrassing, but as long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they will be just fine. They're going to be fine. But Rashee Rice is facing a suspension, so he's probably going to be missing the first part of the season. Marquise Brown's already injured in camp. Kelsey's another year older. Hopefully Xavier Worthy takes a big step in year 2. So you have some worries in the weapon room, wide receiver, tight end room for the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Simmons, the left tackle they drafted in the first round, had some injuries, I'm pretty sure, in college, and he fell in the draft. But he seems to be shining in camp. Yes, it's not actual games. Yes, it's practice. Yes, it doesn't matter at all, but this is a great sign for the Kansas City Chiefs. They already have one of the best centers in the league, if not the best center in the league, in Creed Humphrey. Trey Smith is already a Pro Bowl guard. So if they had their answer at left tackle and Josh Simmons, Mahomes can make it work with receivers like Juju Smith-Schuster for all I care. As long as he has time in the pocket to throw the ball, he's going to light it up, no matter what receivers he has. So that's going to be huge. Because you remember last season, they had a revolving door at left tackle. They then moved Joe Thuney from guard to tackle, and there was a struggle. So if they have their answer at left tackle, watch out. It won't matter who's at receiver, because he'll have all the time in the world to do damage. You already have a Pro Bowl guard, an all-pro center. If you end up with a bona fide starting left tackle, you kind of shored up your offense. Even though you have some unknowns with Rashee Rice, with Marquise Brown, with Travis Kelce getting older, this could be a great sign for the Chiefs moving forward. So to me, they're still the second best team in the league, and I don't see a reason why they wouldn't make the AFC Championship game again. I don't necessarily think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. This might finally be the year they miss the Super Bowl, but no doubt they're probably going to be in the AFC Championship game again. As long as you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, you are going to be just fine. So the Chiefs are 2. So there's 2 teams that kind of are neck and neck in the AFC. 2 teams that have tried to take down the Chiefs and have failed. 2 teams that are very similar, and 2 teams that are Super Bowl or bust coming into this season. And that's the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. So who do I have at 3 and who do I have at 4? I'm going to put the Ravens at 3. Lamar Jackson has gotten better and better as a passer each season. Who knows where he's going to go this season? And yeah, I understand. The Bills beat the Ravens in the playoffs last season, but it was a little lucky. Mark Andrews with a drop at the end of the game, and the Ravens crushed them in the regular season, destroyed them. Derrick Henry went off. So I'll take the Ravens with the slight edge here. These are 2 top teams in the AFC. It goes Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, but nonetheless, I have the slight edge to the Ravens. And personally, I prefer Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen. There's no statistical reason why. I just like watching Lamar Jackson play more than Josh Allen. So I really think that after last season, crushing them in the regular season, almost beating them in the playoffs, I think the Ravens do have the slight edge here. They add Jair Alexander at corner. The Bills add back Tre'Davious White at corner. So they're very similar teams here. They make very similar moves, and they're kind of neck and neck with each other. So the Ravens have the slightest edge possible, but still, Ravens 3, Bills 4. Number 5, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions here. They lost both their coordinators. That matters a lot. I love Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell a lot. But this is going to be a major adjustment. Ben Johnson was the hot commodity at head coach for the last couple seasons. Probably the best offensive coordinator in the league. And Aaron Glenn was a really underrated, underappreciated defensive coordinator. He had that team last season maul Sam Darnold. And look at that defensive roster, especially without Aiden Hutchinson. There wasn't much to work with there. So Aaron Glenn leaving, we don't know what he's going to be as a head coach, but we know he's a damn good defensive coordinator. Ben Johnson leaving, we don't know if he's a good head coach. He's a damn good offensive coordinator. There's going to be an adjustment, but they still possibly have the best offense in the league. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to. I really think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be one of the best running backs in the league this year. He might be the best running back in the league. I might draft the number 1 overall in fantasy if I get the number 1 pick. So the Lions are still going to be really good. I wouldn't freak out if I'm a Lions fan, but as we stand right now, you lost both your coordinators, and it's just going to be a tough adjustment there to have 2 brand new coordinators come in, and the philosophy that Ben Johnson had in that Lions offense, it fit perfectly with the personnel in that team. The trick plays, the aggressiveness, the throws down the field, the 2-headed monster running back. It's going to be different with a new offensive coordinator, no matter who it is. So I really think that these 2 losses is going to bring them a slight step back. They might have been 3 at the end of last season overall. Now I have them at 5. So is that a big deal? I don't know, but you have to take that into consideration for sure. Number 6, the Washington Commanders. I might be really high on the Commanders. Some people might make fun of me about that, but I think the expectation should be sky high for the Commanders going to this season. Jaden Daniels carried them to an NFC Championship game with not that talented of an offensive roster or defensive. Now their roster got even better. Now he's another year older in the league. Now he's another year with more experience. Watch out for Jaden Daniels to be an MVP candidate this season. I'm not kidding. I really think with adding Deebo Samuel, who doesn't have to be a number 1, could be a gadget guy. You got Brian Robinson, who's okay, a solid running back. Eckler made some plays for them last season. Zach Ertz, who's old, but still effective coming back. And Terry McLaurin. I think they'll figure something out with him. I don't think he's going to lead the Commanders. I mean, if Terry McLaurin were to get traded from the Commanders, what was the point of even getting Deebo? You didn't get Deebo to trade off Deebo for Terry. You got Deebo to have Deebo and Terry and to win it all this year. So the Commanders, they really should be feeling like it's Super Bowl or bust. Not bust, but they're eyeing the Super Bowl this season. Okay? This team is going to be really good. Unless some catastrophic injury happens, I'm sky high on the Commanders, and that's why I have them at 6. Number 7. I think this is the most shocking ranking I have out of any team on this list. I'm going to put the Denver Broncos at 7. One of the best defenses in the league last year. They led the league in sacks, and they only got better. Add Hufanga, add Dre Greenlaw from the Niners, and if both of them are just 80% of what they used to be, this could be the best defense in the league by far. And I think Sean Payton deserves a lot of credit with what he's done here. A lot of credit. He ran Russell Wilson out of town, had to eat $85 million in dead cap. $85 million. That is cap hell at that point for any team. Then he drafts Bo Nix at pick 12, who everyone thought was the worst quarterback in the draft class out of the 6 main ones, by far. Then Bo Nix immediately looks like a stud. I mean, he could have been a Rookie of the Year candidate last season. Led all rookies in touchdown passes. He really looked like, not an elite football player, but he looked like he's going to be a really, really good quarterback in this league for a long time. He's faster than people think. He has a way bigger arm than people think. And I think he caught a lot of people off guard there. So Sean Payton saw it. Everyone else didn't see it. But the Broncos, have a real chance to compete for the AFC West this season. They are loaded on defense. And offensively, if they just keep doing what they did last season and move it forward to this season, they add Evan Ingram, who's going to be a huge piece of the passing game. I think they're going to be competing for this division. That's why I have them at 7. I think they're going to be a borderline juggernaut. Watch out for the Broncos to have a great season. Number 8. I have the Los Angeles Rams here. I wanted to put them at 6 over the Commanders and over the Broncos. But, Matt Stafford's back's already acting up. He has an aggravated disc in his back, and they're playing it week to week. He's 37, but an old 37. He's got a lot of wear and tear on his body. And I had them being one of the best teams in the league before this, but this is really starting to worry me. It really is. They signed Devontae Adams, so you have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams as your 1 and 2. That's a really good combination right there. Kyron Williams at running back. They have a young defense who's only going to get better with Jared Verse, Braden Fisk. They have pieces. But if Stafford can't stay healthy, they're going nowhere. And you're already starting to see signs of him wearing down. Now, can he play a full 17 games? I don't think so. But if he can play 13 or 14, they'll be fine. But I am worried, and that's why I dropped them a little bit. So I put them at 8. Number 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Baker Mayfield has become a really, really, really good quarterback. He's a top 8 quarterback in my mind. A top 8 quarterback for sure in my mind. They still have Chris Godwin. They still have Mike Evans. And now they add another receiver in the first round, that guy Ibuka. So they have 3 really, really strong receivers. And Bucky Irving came on as a rising star towards the end of last season. Had well over 5 yards per carry. So what was the bugaboo for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in years past? Their running game. Now they have a running game too? And let's remember, their defense might be their weak point at this point, but Todd Bowles is a very strong defensive head coach. So he'll have that defense outperforming, and the Bucs are easily going to win the division. Now it comes down to, can they win multiple playoff games, maybe get to the NFC Championship game, and I think they have the pieces to do that. I mean, Baker Mayfield has really, really, really revived his career and shown that I would take him on my team. If I had a draft and, the top 7 quarterbacks are gone, I'm taking Baker. I really am. 41 touchdown passes last season. The guy has really become a solid, honestly more than solid, a really good quarterback in this league. So with Godwin, Evans, Ibuka, Bucky Irving becoming a rising star, I'm really high on the Bucs, and they're going to win the division easily. They're a top 10 team right now in my eyes, so I have the Bucs at 9. Number 10, I'm going to put the Green Bay Packers here. We all know they're a good team. Matt LaFleur's a top 10 head coach in my eyes. Won multiple games last season with Malik Willis. So I think Matt LaFleur's a top 10 head coach for sure. But this season is really riding in the hands of Jordan Love. Will he play like he did towards the end of 2023 when he won multiple games, won playoff game, crushed Dallas, went toe-to-toe with the Niners, looked like a stud? Or will he be inconsistent like he was last season? I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to bounce back. Remember, that inconsistency started from week 1 when he got injured. So a little bit of bad luck there. So I think the Packers will bounce back this season. I think they're going to be a good team. I think they'll make the playoffs. And Matt LaFleur, as long as he's head coach, he's going to get the most out of Jordan Love. And they drafted that guy Golden in the first round. I think they're going to have a good, they always have a good offense, but I think it's going to be even better with Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs. Now you add Golden to that room, Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks. They're stacked. They do need a number 1, but they have a ton of number 2s and number 1As. So hopefully Golden could be that guy. And if he is, and if Jordan Love's good, they're going to be a good team this year. So as of where it stands right now, Packers 10. Number 11, the Los Angeles Chargers. Almost called them San Diego there. Los Angeles Chargers at 11. Breaking news, I don't know how recent this is, but it's definitely been today. Rashawn Slater is out for the season. So Rashawn Slater is going to miss the entire season. Do they move Joe Alt to left tackle? That opens a big question mark now about the offensive line. But any team with Jim Harbaugh as their head coach is going to be a good team. They had one of the best, or if not one of the best defenses in the league last season. They drafted the running back Omarion Hampton. We all know Jim Harbaugh loves the ground and pound in the running game. So we all know Jim Harbaugh loves that. But Justin Herbert needs to start having success in the playoffs. The Jaguars game, he had a decent first half and kind of fell off a cliff in the second half. Then we had the game last season against the Houston Texans where he threw more picks in that playoff game than he did all regular season, 4 versus 3. So eventually he needs to start having playoff success. So I'm going to keep dropping him in my rankings because you can't be a top 5 quarterback and be, I think this is, his 5th year going to the league and not have a single playoff win. So the Chargers have some pressure on them. Not really for Jim Harbaugh, but for Justin Herbert. But they're going to be good. As long as you have Jim Harbaugh, you're going to be good. Number 12. I'm going to put the Minnesota Vikings here. If you remember my video a couple weeks ago, I had them in last place going 4-13. But where it stands right now, they have one of the best rosters in the league. I have no idea what J.J. McCarthy is. But if he could just be average, if he could just be like the 18th, 17th best quarterback in the league, they'll be a tough out, and they'll be fighting for the playoffs for sure. Jordan Addison, a couple days ago, just got suspended for the first 3 games for a substance abuse violation. So that's going to hurt J.J. McCarthy. You still have Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson. You still have pieces, but they'll lose another receiver for essentially a rookie quarterback coming into his first NFL games, live action, who we have no idea who he is or what he is as a quarterback in this league. That's going to hurt. But I still have him at 12. Brian Flores really had that defense outperforming themselves last season, overperforming, overachieving. And Kevin O'Connell is one of the best offensive minds in the league. So they have two great coaches on the offensive and defensive side. Justin Jefferson, of course. And as long as he's average, they'll be fine. So I had them going in last place, but where it stands right now, they're a top 15 team as far as their roster, the expectations, the coaches. So I'm going to put them at 12. Number 13, the Seattle Seahawks. I'm really high on the Seahawks. Sam Darnold is 100% an upgrade over Geno Smith. People forget because of the last two games, Sam Darnold kind of shit the bed. Sam Darnold threw 35 touchdown passes last season. Most of those touchdown passes were not easy throws. Big-time throws down the field, different arm angles, the movement in the pocket. He looked like a big-time NFL player last season, and for a while, he was in the MVP race. Now, Geno had a great season a couple seasons ago where he threw 30 touchdown passes, but kind of has teetered off a little bit year by year. I think last season, 21 touchdowns, 15 picks, 23 touchdowns. So he's a solid starting quarterback. I don't mean to knock Geno in any way, but I think Sam Darnold has way more upside than Geno Smith. So I think this is an upgrade, and the Seahawks saw it live firsthand when Sam Darnold threw probably the play of the year for him to Justin Jefferson at the end of the game in Seattle. So they made the decision. We're going to trade Geno. We're going to sign Darnold. And I think it's the right decision. I think the Seahawks are a playoff team. So they bring in Cooper Kupp. They do lose Metcalf, but Jackson Smith and Jigba on another season getting older. I think this team is going to be really good. The two-headed monster running back, Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker, and Mike McDonald being the defensive guy is going to coach up that defense. I think they're a playoff team. I really do. I think Sam Darnold's an upgrade over Geno Smith, and I think this is going to go well for them. If he could just throw 26, 27 touchdown passes, Seahawks are a playoff team. They're a playoff team for sure. Number 14, I'm going to put the Houston Texans here. Yes, C.J. Stroud had some slight regression last season, but that was expected. Defense has got more film, another year of film on him. They were the hunted, not the hunters anymore. Big expectations. It was expected to have some slight drop-off. The offensive line was a mess. Multiple injuries. Tank Dell. I think Nico Collins was out for a few weeks. Stephon Diggs missed the entire season, so it was expected. But he still won a playoff game, another playoff game, and he was really, really good in that playoff game. So Texans are going to win the AFC South again. The Texans are a good team. I'm not worried at all about C.J. Stroud. Love their head coach. They're a top half team in the league, top 15 team for sure. So Texans 14. Number 15, the Cincinnati Bengals. I actually didn't write any notes here because I'm so confused about this team. I think they're going to bounce back, but they've been a mess in the offseason. Shamar Stewart, Trey Hendrickson they still haven't reached a deal with Hendrickson. So a little bit of a worry on the defensive side of the ball. There really is. And we know the offense is going to be great. We know Joe Burrow is going to be great, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. But how will that defense fare? I think they're going to improve. I think they're going to be better this season, but they're a big unknown, which is why I have them kind of in the middle of the league right now, because I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to bounce back, but I don't really know for sure right now. So if they sign Trey Hendrickson and he comes to camp, I think they're going to be just fine. But what if he holds out for a couple of weeks? I mean, I'm a little worried there. Zach Taylor's definitely on the hot seat. He's probably one of the hottest seats in the league right now. So I really think the Bengals bounce back, but I'm still unsure, especially with everything going on right now. So I'll put them at 15. Number 16, the San Francisco 49ers. They have the easiest schedule in the league. We all know that. Everyone's discussed that. It's been talked about a lot. But they have a bunch of unknowns right now. What do I mean? Brandon Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey, both coming off big injuries. They lost a couple pieces, Drake Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, who, given were hurt the last couple seasons, but still big pieces to that defense. So you have two unknowns with your two biggest weapons in Ayuk and McCaffrey, and losing pieces on defense. So I like Brock Purdy. I love Kyle Shanahan. I think they're going to be solid, win 9-10 games, but they're just not that good anymore. They're not the Avengers. They're more of just a good team, a solid team, but it depends really on what Ayuk and McCaffrey does. If McCaffrey comes back and he puts up 2,100 total yards like he did a couple seasons ago, yeah, they'll probably be a playoff team. They might even win the division in that case. But if he comes back, gets hurt again, or he's not the same guy, or Brandon Ayuk doesn't have the same explosiveness, they might take a big hit here. So watch out for that. Two guys, top two weapons. You got George Kittle too. So two of the top three weapons coming off big injuries and devastating injuries. So there's a lot of unknown there. Number 17, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really only have them that high because of the pedigree in the last couple seasons being solid. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is that good anymore. He's definitely okay. He showed flashes last season, but the offense isn't talented enough for him to carry them. They brought some pieces in, Jonnu Smith, They got rid of Najee, so they have Jalen Warren. I think they drafted the running back. I forgot his name, though. They bring in Jalen Ramsey, but they lose Minka Fitzpatrick. TJ Watt, you're hearing some contract disputes. They're going to be okay. They're always okay. But I really don't think they're a playoff team, honestly. Aaron Rodgers isn't that good anymore. He showed it last season. He was dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. And when there was pressure, he looked scared. He looked jittery. He looked nervous because he couldn't move like he used to. So this isn't the same quarterback. Yes, he's got a great arm still, excellent arm. But if there's no time in the pocket, he's going to struggle. So the Steelers' line could be iffy at times. It's not the best in the league for sure. Maybe it could bounce back this season. But I really think this team is a solid team, but not a great team or a playoff team, because I just don't think Aaron Rodgers is that good anymore. Yes, he's better than Russell Wilson. Yes, he's better than Justin Fields. But it's not always tit for tat. Like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is better than Russell Wilson. That means they're automatically going to have a better year this year. It's going to be a tougher schedule than the year before. So, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is, like I said, that has no movement anymore. I mean, he's just a shell of himself. There's no other way to say that. So the Steelers 17. Number 18. The Chicago Bears. And I actually feel like I have them a little high. Why am I saying that? Because this is a good roster, for sure. And Ben Johnson coming in. They add Joe Tooney, signed Drew Dahlman, traded for another guy. They revamped the offensive line completely. Completely revamped it. But it's all going to come down to Caleb Williams. And I'm not a big guy to harp on practices in the offseason. Usually it means nothing. Absolutely nothing. But all you hear is about how this guy's struggling. And the fact that last season he couldn't make timed throws from in the pocket and he couldn't hit timed routes and play within himself. He always tried to do hero ball. He always tried to roll out of the pocket, make a big play. And that's why he got sacked a lot. Yes, the line sucked, but he got sacked a lot because he held onto the ball too long. What makes me think that's going to change this season? All I'm hearing this offseason is Ben Johnson getting frustrated over him. I still think they're going to bounce back this year. I still think Caleb Williams is going to bounce back. But where they sit right now, I feel like I might have him a little high at 18. Number 19, the Dallas Cowboys. You hear this whole thing with Michael Parsons now. The contract disputes, the man to get traded, Jerry Jones kind of sounding like he's going completely insane, almost like Al Davis did at the end of his days. So it's getting a little messy here. And I really feel like the Cowboys are always going to be competitive with Dak Prescott as their quarterback, because I hate when people like to shit on Dak Prescott. I really hate when people come at Dak Prescott because, yeah, he's not a top 5 quarterback in the league. We all know that. But he was runner-up MVP 2 seasons ago. He's won a couple of seasons ago 12 games 3 years in a row. I mean, he's been a winning quarterback in the regular season. So I don't think Dak is the problem at all. I think the main problem is the head coach, Brian Schottenheimer. I'm a Jets fan. I know. He was our offensive coordinator, and he sucked. We wanted him out. We ran him out of town so fast. And this guy's been a coordinator for at least 2 decades, maybe more, at least 2 decades. And the fact that he's never even been offered a head coaching job before this is a red flag in itself. Think about it. If Brian Schottenheimer got let go by Jerry Jones when McCarthy left at the end of the season, would he even been hired as an offensive coordinator, let alone head coach? Offensive coordinator, would he have been hired? Probably not. So it's getting a little messy here in Dallas for sure. They have a good team. They don't have a terrible team. They're going to be competitive. They're the Dallas Cowboys. They always are. But things are starting to unravel here, and they are starting to unravel fast for sure. And number 20, I'm going to end it at 20. I'm going to put the New England Patriots here. Mike Vrabel coming in. They revamped that defense. Bunch of signings and free agency. That defense is going to be scary. And Drake May showed that he's probably going to be a hit. He might not be the best quarterback in the league, but he's going to be a top half quarterback in the league. He showed tons of talent, tons of promise, and I think it's going to work here. Mike Vrabel, former Patriot, great head coach, brought the Titans. Let's not forget, brought the Titans to the AFC Championship game with Ryan Tannehill. I'm pretty sure Derrick Henry missed a majority of that season, or A.J. Brown. There was a lot of injuries that season. They still went to the AFC Championship game. Actually, I remember Derrick Henry playing because he torched the Ravens a couple of weeks before that on the ground. So it might have been A.J. Brown, but nonetheless, Ryan Tannehill, AFC Championship game, great head coach. I mean, come on. Let's be honest about that. I'm a Jets fan. That's coming from a Jets fan, and I'm saying the Patriots are going to bounce back this season in a big way. Not a playoff team just yet. Maybe a year away from the playoffs, but even offense, adding Stephon Diggs. They drafted that guy Travion Henderson. If he could be a factor on that offense, watch out. I don't think they're going to be a great offense, but they could just be 17th, 18th in the league, and that defense plays like I think it's going to do, like a top 10 unit. They could be fighting for a playoff spot in the last couple of weeks. I don't think that's crazy. So I'm going to go back over that. Number 1, I have the Eagles. Number 2, Chiefs. 3, Ravens. 4, Bills. 5, Lions. 6, Commanders. 7, Broncos. 8, Rams. 9, Bucks. 10, Packers. 11, Chargers. 12, Vikings. 13 Seahawks, 14 Texans, 15 Bengals, 16 49ers, 17 Steelers, 18 Bears, 19 Cowboys, and 20 Patriots. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you soon. Take care.